This is a nice feel-good flow to help relieve tension in your hips and shoulders. Let's go ahead and get started on your back with your feet as wide as your mat and your knees tipped together. Place your hands on your low belly or wherever is comfortable. Settle in. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Breathe in, feel your belly expand. Breathe out, feel it soften and contract. Start to settle in a natural rhythmic breath and be curious about expanding. As you inhale, your belly, chest rise, and as you exhale, they fall. 2 more rounds of breath right here. Keep your feet where they are and let your knees start to sway side to side, right to left, and left to right. Let your hips flow with you. Let your body go naturally. Next time you sway to the left, let your knees stay. Take your arms wide and take your gaze to the right. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Make your way to center and then let your knees fall to the right and settle in for a couple of breaths. Come back to center. Pull your knees in towards your chest. You can grab your shins or behind your thighs, whatever works. Circle your knees one direction and the other. Come back to center. Release your left foot to the floor. Stretch your right leg up towards the sky. Grab behind your thigh or behind your knee. Point your toe. Flex your toe. Point your toe towards the ceiling. And then stretch your heel towards the ceiling with your toes towards your face. Really point and stretch your toe up towards the ceiling and really reverse it and stretch your heel. You might feel some kind of way about those things. Press your thigh into your hand into your thigh. Breathe. And then maybe relax it a little and grab a little higher. See if you've got more space. You can always keep your foot on the floor. It just felt good for me to stretch mine out. Start to hover your leg away from the floor. Lift your shoulders. Reach past your right leg. Pull your core in. Exhale and release. Left foot to the floor. Half happy baby. Grab the outside of your right foot. Ankle, shin, whatever's accessible. Rock a little side to side. Stay with your breath through all of the movements, even the challenging ones. Take a twist to your left. Take your right knee across to the left side of your mat. And you can use a block underneath your shin to support if your knee doesn't touch the floor. Be heavy here. Settle in for a few breaths. With your inhale, feel expansive. And with your exhale, notice how gravity pulls you just a little bit closer to the earth. One more round of breath here. In the twist. Pull your knees back to center, and this time we're going to take them forward, out, around, and forward, out, and around. And then reverse it, so out, back, and around, out, and back, and around. Whatever that movement looks like for you is perfect. Right foot to the floor, grab behind your left thigh or whatever is accessible for you. Stretch your left leg up. Point through your toe. Flex your toe. Point your toe up and stretch your heel towards the ceiling. So toes to the ceiling and then reverse it with your heel towards the ceiling. Now you can relax your toe and just press your left thigh into your hand and vice versa. Maybe you crawl up a little bit more. Maybe you've got a little more space. It's interesting what happens with time. Start to hover your right leg off, lift your shoulders, reach past your leg. You can do this. One more big breath in. Exhale and release. Ooh, a little cramp there. Let's go ahead and take that half happy baby on the left side. Grab your foot, your ankle, your shin, whatever is accessible for you. Feel free to rock a little side to side. Fill out that hip. And then we'll take a twist to your right this time. Left knee across to the right side of your mat. Sometimes it's nice to scoot the bottom hip under, maybe shimmy your shoulders a little closer to the bent knee. Whatever works for you. Fill it out and settle in for a few rounds of breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. You may even feel some subtle contraction with your inhale and that subtle release with your exhale. Allow your body to be heavy and passive here in the twist. And just one more round of breath. And use your inhale to start to come back to center. Grab behind your thighs when you do. We're going to use some momentum to start rocking, rolling towards the top of our mat. So start to rock and roll. Rock and roll. Maybe you rock and catch some time on your sit bones. Root down, lengthen nice and long, and then rock it back. Well, 2 or 3 more times. Rock and catch. Rock and catch. And rock yourself up to a boat pose. Pause here, root down nice and long. You can keep your hands on your thighs, maybe release. And just put your feet down. You can roll over your shins or sweep your feet off to the side. Make your way to a tabletop pose, hands and knees. Move around a little bit. Now, if your knees are sensitive, feel free to use your blanket and pad your mat. Create some little cushion for your knees while you're on your hands and knees. And we'll move through some cat-cow. Inhale, tip your tailbone up, belly down. Pull your heart forward and up. Exhale, tailbone down, belly button to spine, chin to chest last. Let it initiate from your tailbone. So tailbone up, belly down, heart forward and up. Exhale, tailbone down, belly button to spine, chin to chest. And just see if you can feel that undulation 2 more times. Tuck your toes, press your hips up and back for downward facing dog, and take your dog for a walk right away. Bend into your left knee, press your right heel towards the floor, and switch sides. Bend into your right knee, press your left heel towards the floor. Rise high onto your toes, bend your knees, hips up and back. Keep your knees soft, do a little twerk, shake it out a little bit, dance it out right here on your mat. And then settle in. See? You can press your heels a little closer to the floor. Take a breath in and out. Bend your knees and then stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee, point your right foot to the left side of your mat and look underneath your armpit. Come back to center, inhale, and then step your right foot to your right thumb. Lower your left knee right away and settle in. And press through your left foot and just start to lift yourself up, pulling that energy up from the earth. Rise up with strength and grace. Inhale your arms up towards the sky. If arms up doesn't work, you can always bring your hands to your heart or maybe to your hips. One more round of breath. I probably should have had my block close anyway, but here it is. Grab your block into your right hand and set it by your right hip. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling, right hand down to your block, stretch your left arm up and over to the right side of the room. So my fingers are on the block and you can adjust as you want to. Just try not to collapse forward to touch the floor. Keep your hips and shoulders in the same line. You might feel a nice stretch through your hip flexors, psoas area. Come back to center. Sometimes it's nice to have blocks here for both hands. Take a half split. Stretch your right leg out nice and long. With your inhale, stretch through the crown of your head, and your exhale, just settle into your fold over your right leg. You may or may not need the blocks for the whole time. You'll notice my hands walk forward and I set my blocks out of the way eventually. And you may even slide your foot a little more forward at some point. Some of you may be ready for a full split. More power to you. Slide that foot back. Lift your back knee off of the floor. Move your blanket out of the way. Bend your back knee and press down to rise up. Inhale, stretch up, high lunge, 2 straight legs. Exhale, bend your elbows, bend your knees. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bend everything, soften. 2 more. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, soften. Last one. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hands through heart center and set up your feet for warrior 2. Then drop your arms. Inhale as you straighten your legs and pull that energy up, and exhale as you press it out. So exhale the arms down, but inhale to straighten the leg and exhale to press it out. Inhale, 2 straight legs, pull the energy up from the earth. Exhale to press it out. Inhale, reverse, stretch to that front leg, reach your right arm up and back, then exhale, bend into your front knee, elbow to that knee, sweep your left arm down, back, and across your chest, reach up, inhale. Exhale, sweep it down, forward, across your chest, reach up, inhale. 2 more. Last one. Exhale, press into your front foot, star pose, toes out, heels in, be big. Turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, open your arms up nice and wide. Exhale for a wide leg forward fold. Take your heart forward, bend your knees on the way if you'd like. You can totally take a block underneath your hands if that helps. Otherwise, let your head hang nice and heavy. Keep your weight out of your heels, more towards the center of your gravity. Interlace your hands behind your head if that feels nice. Create a little traction for your neck, decompression in your spine. Go ahead and release that bind if you've taken one. Place your hands on the floor and just do a little Ninjasana lunge side to side. Now maybe the deep bend in your knee doesn't really work. You can be a little bit higher, maybe use blocks underneath your hands. Just do whatever it takes to balance yourself out. One more time, side to side. And crawl to the back of your mat so that you're facing the back of your mat now. Kick your left leg up and back, bend your knee, toes to the right side, look underneath your right armpit. Come back to center, stretch that leg up, and take your left foot to your left thumb. Oh, gotta get my blocks from the back of my mat. Pad your mat, and then release your right knee to the floor. Settle in here, and then press down to lift up. Feel yourself draw the energy up from the floor, and then inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Let your hips sink in a little bit, but still stay firm through your foundation. Where can you soften, and where do you need to maintain the support? This time I'm ready with my block on the left side of my mat. Go ahead and release your hand to the left side of your mat, down onto your block, and stretch your right arm up and over to the left side of the room. Breathe. You can keep your gaze up or take your gaze down, whatever feels right for your neck. Just stretch through that right side. Go ahead and come back to center. You can place your hands on blocks. Find that half split. So keep your hip over your knee, even if that means sliding your foot a little more forward. And find that length through your spine. Inhale, and then fold even deeper if you've got the space over that left leg. One more round of breath here. Go ahead and slide that heel back in, lunging towards your front leg. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee off of the floor. And go ahead and move that blanket out of your way. Set it off to the side. Bend your back knee, bend everything, get nice and close to the earth. Press down to rise up. Inhale, stretch up, 2 straight legs, high lunge. Exhale, soften everything. Bend your elbows, bend your knee. Exhale, pull it back in. 2 more. Last one. Inhale, stretch up, high lunge. Exhale, hands through heart center, open up to warrior 2. Drop your arms. Exhale, inhale to pull that energy up. Exhale, press it out. Inhale, straighten through your legs. Exhale, press it out and bend back in. Inhale, pull it up. Exhale, press it out. Inhale, reverse, stretch to that left leg, stretch to that left side. Exhale, extended side angle, bend into your knee, elbow to your knee. Bring your right arm across your chest. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, back down, around, cross your chest. Inhale to reach it up. Exhale, sweep the arm back, down, around. Inhale, across your chest and up. Last time. Inhale, star pose, toes out, heels in, be big. Exhale, bend your elbows, bend your knees, tongue out. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale. Breathe in, be expansive. Exhale. Go ahead and bring your elbows to your knees. You might have to adjust your feet, rock your hips a little side to side. We're going to add a little dynamic movement here. So exhale, toes forward, hips up. Inhale, toes out, hips down. Exhale, toes forward, hips up. Inhale, toes out, hips down. Exhale, hips up. Exhale, hips down. Bring your fingertips to the floor, crawl back to the top of your mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Knees, pelvis, belly, chest to the floor, tops of your feet to the floor. Exhale here. Inhale as you press into your hands, lift your heart, roll up. Exhale to release. Breathe in. Exhale, hips down, start to press down, and then inhale as your heart and head lifts. Exhale to release. Take a breath in. One more time. Wave it up. Go ahead and release your hands right underneath your forehead. Give yourself a little time, space to breathe and feel. Go ahead and bring your hands underneath you. Press back to tabletop. Bring your knees underneath you. You might need your blanket again here. We're actually going to move into a toe squat. So tuck your toes underneath you, and maybe you're like here with your toes barely tucked under, and that's where you are, right? Or you can tuck your toes under even more and press your hips back towards your thighs. You can also use your blocks, maybe underneath your hands. That gets your hips a little bit further back and you a little more upright. But maybe you just want to take the pressure off of your wrists and you can put your arms on the blocks. If you're ready, walk yourself all the way back so you're sitting with your Head over your heart and your hips, and bring your hands into your lap, one palm into the other, thumbs connected. Stay for 5 honest rounds of breath. You might be on breath 3. Last 2. Last breath right here. Stay with it. No whiplash, no rush. Release your hands down to the floor. Start to crawl yourself forward. You might flex and point your toes, maybe circle them out. Sometimes I get a cramp here, like just, see what's happening. Press the tops of your feet into your mat, give them a little counter stretch, lift your knees up and your hips up just a little bit, a couple times, a little counter stretch. And sit, tops of your feet to your mat, roll your shoulders down and back, interlace your hands behind you and draw your fist to your right hip. Breathe in, drop your chin to your chest and roll your right ear to your right shoulder. You might feel a sensation on the left side of your neck. Might feel good to look over to the right side. Feel it out. Next inhale, come back to center, lift your heart, press your knuckles down, then take your fist to the left side, your left hip. Let your chin drop to your chest and roll it over to your left ear. You may notice some differences from side to side. It's all perfect. One more round of breath here. Release. One more time. Lift your heart up. Go ahead and release that grip. Give it a little shimmy shake. Let it go. Then hands to the floor, tabletop. You're going to want to move your blanket off of your mat for this next pose. And then come to tabletop. Lift your right leg up and back behind you and drop your right knee behind your left. Keep your feet nice and wide and start to walk your body back. Now, sometimes I get stuck right there and that's fine, right? You can stay. Or you can release your hips to between your heels, or you might sit on a block like I'm doing. And you can stay right here. This might be perfect for you. If you're ready to move on, inhale, your arms out and up. Exhale, left arm under right. We're gonna go for an eagle bind. You can go with the bear hug or do a double bind where your elbows are connected and you grab your wrists or something like that. Whatever works, right? Breathe. Feel that expansion in your upper back. One more round of breath right here. With your next exhale, start to unwind your arms. Open up. Inhale, expand. Exhale your hands to the floor. Start to crawl yourself forward. Lift your right leg. Kick it out a little bit. Both knees to the floor. Give yourself a little shake or a little barrel roll. Barrel rolls is what I'm doing here, but do what feels right for you. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. So stretch your left leg, drop your left knee back behind your right. Start to crawl your way back to your depth. You might stay on your hands. Maybe you've got blocks underneath your hands. Super important for your feet to be kind of wide and out of your way. Go ahead and make your way into that bind if you're ready. Inhale, expand. Exhale, wrap your right arm underneath your left. I'm going straight into the eagle bind this time. And breathe here. It may feel different from side to side. Be with whatever that difference is as you breathe into this moment. Just a couple of more rounds of breath right here. Last inhale and exhale. And start to unravel your arms. Open up nice and wide. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Crawl your way forward. Stretch that left leg back behind you. Do those little hip wiggles or barrel rolls, whatever works for you. And then find some stillness. We're going to set up for puppy pose now. So you want your hips right over your knees, and then you'll stretch your arms out in front of you. Traditional variation is chin and chest to the floor, but I know that that can be really intense. So sometimes I get there and I grab the edge of my mat to help keep me stable. If this doesn't work for you, you can always bring your elbows just a little bit closer. But keep your hips over your knees and your heart towards the floor. Another option, if you have more space, is to take your blocks and place your forearms on your blocks with your wrists and elbows off. And then you can just sort of let your heart melt towards the floor and let your forehead towards the floor as well. You choose a place to be and to breathe. Two more rounds of breath right here. Stay with it, allowing your heart to meld into the earth. Start to press yourself up. Move your blocks out of the way. Stretch your legs out behind you and release your forearms to the floor. So elbows underneath your shoulders, and you just prop yourself up like you're a kid watching cartoons on Saturday morning. You can take your feet wide or closer together depending on how sensitive your back is. Avoid dropping your chin to your chest or jutting your chin towards the ceiling. Let the back of your neck be nice and long in line with the rest of your spine. Breathe. And feel like a little gentle pull of your elbows towards your body. Nothing too aggro, just subtly pulling your heart forward courageously. Take one more round of breath here. And release your forehead to the floor. Stretch your left arm out to the left or up towards the top of your mat. Right hand underneath your right shoulder. Roll onto your left side. Bend your right knee. Take your right foot behind your left leg. You may keep your right hand on the floor underneath your shoulder. Maybe you reach it behind your back. Maybe you grab your waistline. Some of you might be able to reach for your left fingers with your right fingers. Let your head stay relaxed. It might be nice to have a block under it. Unravel right arm back to the floor. Roll back to center and then switch sides. Left hand underneath your left shoulder. Stretch your right arm out to the right. Roll onto your right side, your right hip, and take that left foot behind your right leg. Option to take that bind behind your back or keep your hand to the floor, totally up to you. One more round of breath here. And start to unravel. Bring your left hand back underneath your left shoulder, roll back to center. Both hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself back onto your knees and make your way into a child's pose. Hips back towards your heels. Stretch your arms out. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Thank you for joining me for this practice. I hope you feel as good as I did when I put it together for you. Take a couple breaths here with your third eye connected to the earth. And as you're ready, start to walk your hands back towards your body. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall. See you next time.